All right, since she's not here, I'm just gonna step in briefly. Yeah, I'm gonna make the minutes document and pull that up very quickly. Thank you for your patience, everyone. All right, fantastic. Thank you very much, media centers. All right, let's see. Okay, as the attendance sheet pulls up, so I'm just going to begin the roll call. So Dylan. Great. Vice President Carolyn.
Here.
Okay. I'll mark myself as present. Our Chief of Finance, unfortunately, is absent. I believe our secretary might just be running a little bit late, so I'll hold that blank right now. Okay. Nancy.
I'm here.
Okay. Senator Warner. Jordan. Okay. Hunby.
Here.
Okay. Mario.
Here.
Fantastic, thank you. Adele is excused absent, that's right. Zahra?
I'm here.
Okay. Hey. Aziza? Aziza? All right. Akwe? Here in the chat, I saw before. Morning. Saket is excused absent. The same for RBA Senator Robert Jones as well. Sweta?
Here.
Morning. Naveen?
Here.
Carlos? Carlos? Okay. Giovanna? Okay. Mira?
Here.
Morning. And then Senator David, I believe, is C7 as well. Christine?
I'm here. Sorry, I couldn't click my mic.
No worries. Okay. See who else? Okay. And then for University Centers, Brianna. I know you marked you're not able to speak. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. I'm sorry. I'm not used to taking attendance. Camilla. Okay. Ricky.
Present.
Good morning. And Sarah.
Present.
All right. So I'll make sure to properly mark it. Still a little unorganized in the minutes right now. But moving onwards, we have the approval of minutes from last week. So that would be back in March, my goodness. So the approval of minutes from March 29th, 2021. If there is no objection, we will be approving the minutes from our last general body meeting. Excuse me. Okay. Hearing no objection, the minutes from last meeting have been approved. On to executive board reports. We have the legacy Google Drive with the abbreviated bit.ly link, which I'll add. Thank you. We have the SGA emergency fund, which is still the same forms.newark.rutgers.edu. For those of you who are graduating seniors, there is a special seniors link that allows you to donate directly to the COVID-19 support funds for Rutgers Newark. For resources, we have Dr. Denise Thomas, of course, who's the Director of Health and Wellness. Counseling Center has drop-in hours. They're doing Mindfulness Mondays at 4 o'clock today. You can call in and schedule an appointment. There's also a student text helpline run by VPVA. San Velo, which offers some more resources if you just want to explore a little bit. And then finally, the Student Health Center, which offers both virtual appointments, and they also have a 24-hour nurse hotline. So if you are feeling ill at 2 or 3 a.m., that's a number that you can call. Not the health center, but the hotline number on their website. They will also bring up, there's a Grassroots organizing conference just this upcoming Sunday, the 11th of April. I'm sure Caitlin can tell us a lot more about that. NJ Perk is organizing this along some other partners. So I'm looking forward to attending that. And then there's the RBS camera policy meeting with Provost Monga, Vice Chancellor Gunkel, and Dean Kurland that we had recently. So this was, I believe, last Wednesday, the 31st. So we basically spoke about some of the concerns that have been brought forth by the RBS senators and some of the other students, namely that even though it's supposed to be our school policy just for Rutgers Newark, the deans and chancellor's office had agreed that that they would not count turning your camera on for any form of grade, and students have the ability to leave their cameras off, and have that right. There were still like a lot of reports about students being deducted points or for professors insinuating otherwise. So we're really glad that we got to meet with RBS senior administration and just people from the chancellor's office and have that cleared up a little bit. They sent out an email towards the end of last week to all RBS students. Even though the font was a little bigger in some places, the email was explicit with the last couple lines that it cannot count for any portion of the grade. And if there are any issues, we really encourage RBS students to go directly to Dean Kurland. He specified during the meeting that he's very available. He wants to resolve any issues. So far, as of the meeting, they only heard 3 complaints, but we know that students are encountering a lot more. So please email Dean Kurland directly if you are an RBS student and your grade has been unfairly docked or affected because of this camera policy. In general, they also included a link to the general grievance policy, and we'll be trying to promote that with students. But if you have issues with the class, the general hierarchy or who you should be talking to would first be your instructor. If they're not able to help you, or if you're having some issues, then talking to the chair of the department. And if that is not successful, then finally the dean, the associate dean for the school overall. But once again, if you're an RBS student, since we received 5 syllabi that had insinuating statements or the potential to impact grades, if you're an RBS student, contact Dean Kurland. Otherwise, just go through the general grievance policy. And if you do have any of these issues, please do let the SGA know. We're available on our Instagram and at runsga@gmail.com. CC us so that we can also help advocate for students. I really want all of you representatives to reach out to your classmates. If you hear anything, let them know the same thing. So that's the RBS camera policy meeting. I know the RBS senators aren't here, but President, did you have anything to add? I know you're also in and out of that.
Yeah, so I think it was productive overall. I think the main point here is that they weren't really receiving the complaints, but then the points that our RBS senators were making were that students didn't maybe a lot of students didn't know how to make the complaint, or that they should be making a complaint, like, not being clear on like what the actual policy is. So it's good that, we are addressing that and that they did take the time to hear us out on that.
All right, thank you, President. And if the RBS centers have any further notes, I'd let them know just to update us. But I think that should have been most everything from the meeting. We're expecting to hear back from Dean Kurland, hopefully sometime this week, about some next steps we can do just to make sure that this is explicit and clear for students. Keeping in mind, of course, that we're going to be moving into more of a hybrid come fall semester. For the Hunger-Free Campus, so that's a grant program provided by, I forget which exact fund it comes from, but due to just some increased funding with COVID-19 and associated legislation, the grant is once again active and open. And in fact, we should be, or Dr. Nice Thomas and I know Director Hens from the Pantry Run have been working really hard on that. They're probably going to be submitting it to the Chancellor's office today so that the Chancellor can submit it to the President, who will be submitting the applications for all three campuses to the state by April 12th, the official deadline. There was an NJ Perk panel, which was very successful. Sally isn't here, unfortunately, but many thanks to her, Caitlin, and everyone else at NJ Perk, who've really been doing a lot of the organizing and programming to help us apply for this grant. And I'll definitely keep you guys posted as further information comes out. We're really hoping to receive it since it's $40,000 to $100,000, and that'll help our campus expand like SNAP programming, enrolling students for that, infrastructure for the pantry run, maybe even additional staff, right? Hopefully we can get some more paid students in there. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. All right, the Rutgers vaccine mandate, as you all know, President Holloway sent out an email not too long ago. In this website, which I'll put in the chat, there is basically FAQ, frequently asked questions for a lot of the concerns that we've been hearing. I know our president has been on IG Live and hearing some of these same concerns. President, do you want to address a couple quick things from the vaccine mandate or the website?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, some students are inquiring, of course, how do I get exempt, right? Some students don't want to take the vaccine, whatever. It's your right to be exempt, if you follow which exemptions are given, right? So the state mandates that there are various genuine medical exemptions and, of course, the religious exemption. And if you continue just taking online classes, of course, you're exempt as well. You don't have to get the vaccine then. They haven't really set up the infrastructure yet for you to like say, I'm exempt or, apply for that or whatever. But it's like we have time, and of course they will be doing that. And some other students are just kind of concerned with going back in general, which is interesting. They want to be online. They want to know how many online classes they'll have, what that's looking like. Of course, the class schedules are still being figured out. I'm thinking it's going to be kind of like half and half, like in person, online. But on a departmental level, I have no idea. I couldn't answer that.
All right, thank you, President. Yeah, they're probably still working out the kinks and figuring out how exactly all this will work. But as soon as we have further information, we'll obviously update all of you in the association and the students. Right now, the FAQ website is the most information that we have. So we're just going to be operating off that, refer students to the coronavirus portal if you receive any questions. There are exemptions, but they do seem to be a little bit more limited since Rutgers is really trying to, Rutgers is really trying to be innovative like they have throughout the pandemic and making sure students are all safe and vaccinated. So we'll see how that continues to develop. Moving along, the next item was Chancellor Cantor's plan for fall 2021. I'm sure you all received an email regarding that. Dylan, I don't know if you have any more information from the advising meetings or planning meetings.
No, so we haven't had one of those since like the day that they were going to release the messaging on the vaccine mandate. There's going to be one towards the end of the month. So I'm thinking that's when I'll get more info on like class schedules or like what more like that outlook or the infrastructure is going to look like. But otherwise, I would say, on the Chancellor's message, just read it it's important if you're going to be a student next semester.
All right. Thank you, President. I see. And I think we're back to you again. Anything you want to bring up from the IG Lives? I'm sorry I wasn't able to attend the second session.
Yeah, no problem. I think it's good. You know, I kind of wanted to get out there, especially now, just because there's been so much going on with Rutgers, like, you know, graduation, vaccines, what's going on with classes, this initiative, that, like, what, you know, so much going on. So I want to like kind of bring like office hours, office time to like IG Live. And the speaker expressed that she would want to do that with me as well. So maybe we could do that like this week or next week. I think that'd be cool. We could promote it. But yeah, I mean, I'm getting a lot of questions which are interesting, you know, from students who I don't really talk to on a regular basis, you know. So I think it's helpful.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, President. Hopefully I'll be able to attend the next one as well. But yeah, we'll definitely continue to look forward to that. Sorry if I seem a little bit distracted. I'm trying to take minutes and run at the same time. For lines of communication, as always, check in and CC the speaker and myself. For finances using funds, contact our chief of finance and speaker. And for legislation meeting collaborations, myself and the speaker. Soft deadline of Friday again. And now we're going to move on to item D, committee reports. So are there any reports from the Internal Affairs Committee? Okay. Are there any reports from the Elections Committee?
Yes. Hi, everybody. Sarah, co-chair of the Elections Committee. So we are finished with campaign week. We are waiting on finalizing the ballot. Elections will start to the 7th and they will end the 11th. They start 7th. I think that's Wednesday at 8 a.m. And then they finish Sunday, the 11th at 11:59 p.m. We do have people running. However, it is not a contested. Not a lot of the positions are contested. So hopefully, you know, we will have people. I mean, so far we haven't had any appeals or complaints. So hopefully this will be a much smoother than previous elections. And we foresee the elections ending and having the results by the 15th, 16th, the latest of this month, and sending the emails to the names to Mary Mickelson, who's the secretary of the University Senate. Other than that, we really don't have a lot. We had the open forum, which was a success. You know, thankfully people showed up. It was live streamed on YouTube, so everything's set. And yeah, I look forward to finishing and onboarding everybody.
Thank you very much, co-chair. I was glad to see on Instagram that we also got a couple of new members from student organizations like MAPS. So very thankful to everyone else who's on the elections committee and helping to put that together. I know it's a lot of work. Are there any other reports from ad hoc committees?
Permission to speak, Mr. Chairman.
Recognized.
Thank you. So I'm also the chair of the Sexual Assault Prevention Committee. So I'll be speaking on that. We had a training by VPVA on the upstander We Speak training to, especially now, you know, it's Sexual Assault Awareness Month. So I just want to take the time out for people who are watching this, people who are on this call and are listening to this, you know, for all survivors out there. We see you, we acknowledge you, and we believe you, and we are advocating for you. And this is a month where we are actively trying to educate ourselves and share the resources that we have, whether it's on campus, statewide, or nationally. So if you need anything, please don't hesitate to reach out. If you would like to remain anonymous, or if you need any help with confidentiality, VPVA has many great resources. This is a time, you know, when we're talking about sexual assault prevention and sexual assault awareness, it could be triggering for people. So if you feel triggered, use the We Speak hotline. and reach out to VPVA. Everything will remain confidential and anonymous as well. So speaking of that, we had I just want to say that before I went into the training. So we had the training, I believe, a week and a half ago on Monday at 10. Thank you to those that attended. We will be having another training on Friday the 16th, I believe, at 10 a.m. So if anybody is interested, please reach out. Let me know so I can send your information over to VPVA and send you the link as well. Hopefully we can have also, this could be a more regular thing that the association does, and hopefully this serves as a precedent for people who will be joining committees and people who will be a part of the association to partake in such conversations, especially trainings and dialogues about certain issues, since we are the representative body of the students. Other than that, we are trying to work on other initiatives, but it's been a little hectic. Hopefully we can set up a meeting with Title IX to discuss the plans and moving forward and just setting the foundation for future committees. I rest my time.
Thank you very much, Chair. Just give me a moment. I think there's like a lawnmower outside, so I'm going to close my window a little tighter. I'm sorry about that. Hopefully you didn't hear that very irritating sound in the background. But thank you again, Senator Shobut. Please do send me the link, and hopefully we can have all of our association trained as well, just because it's very important. I did want to also add on, like for any students who are watching or just for the association, there are confidential and non-confidential resources at Rutgers. VPVA, Counseling Center, and anything with patient-provider confidentiality. So like the health center, these are all confidential resources. However, faculty and staff are mandated reporters, and if you disclose to them, they will be required by law to report it to Title IX or to begin the process of creating a case. So I just want to keep that in mind. And reiterate, like VPVA is like a fantastic resource and probably the first people you should talk to if you've experienced anything along those lines. So thank you again, Senator Shobut, for bringing that to our attention. Yes, Senator.
Thank you. I just want to clarify that they're not mandated to make a case. They are mandated if you do go to a professor or a faculty or administrator, they are mandated to report it to Title IX, but then Title IX will reach out to you if you would like to pursue a case. Because yes, there is no confidentiality there, but the survivors' rights are still somewhat maintained, even in certain situations. So I just wanted to make that clear if people, so you're not worried,
yes,
students.
Yeah, thank you so much, Senator Shobut. I think it's clear I'm a little bit rusty, so I'm looking forward to getting trained once again. Thank you for clarifying that. Yes, it is the student's choice to bring up a case with Title IX or with any other resources. Are there any other reports from ad hoc committees?
Permission to speak.
Recognized.
Hello everyone, Claire Borte, media senator. So I'm just gonna keep it short. I'm pretty sure like everyone else knows about this already. And then we put in the chat, but we're still in the process of completing the website. Today was the final day, I believe. And if you haven't submitted your form, we'll be proceeding with or without your submission. So I just wanted to put that out there. And I also wanted to put out that student engagement, I know the community outreach centers, are helping out with that. So if anyone wants to participate in those upcoming events, that would be great. So I rest my time.
Thank you very much, Senator. Yes, I don't know how many responses you received. I'm sorry, I did my response very late as well. But it does take less than 5 minutes, as our president and Senator Sackett promised, especially if you already have like fantastic profile pictures of yourself prepared. it's just uploading the picture and then saying like a couple words about what we do in the association. I think this will really help engagement overall, and it'll give us an actual platform to reach out to students besides just like social media. So please do fill that out like by today. Otherwise, it's just going to be like a little gray box next to your name. And that's sad. Nobody wants that, right? So please do fill out that Google form. It is in the WhatsApp chat. Are there any other reports from ad hoc committees?
Yes, permission for the floor.
Hello, Senator Warner. Great to see you. Recognized.
So I actually today went to the dining hall and I spoke to Brian, and he's in charge of the dining hall. And we were talking about my my idea for reusable to-go containers on campus. And we were talking about it, but it's really that to put in legislation and everything like that, we have to kind of wait it out to see how everything's going to be handled next year on campus. If we're going to be doing clubs in person, clubs on campus, it all just kind of is going to be like a waiting game. Because he said he's tried something like that before, but he's run into the issue with students not actually bringing it back. But he said he's willing it to go another go. And he said we just need to find the right niche and the right way to do it. But it's like, I don't know what I should do from here. Should I continue to try to do it, or should I wait till we find out? Or is there a way like I could write up a certain amount of money I would need for it and just put it aside almost, or something like that?
So that's an excellent transition to I think our president will mention it hopefully during like the hearing, if that's okay. But that is an option. I know that Director Brian Conway for gourmet dining has mentioned before that reusable containers do come at like a slightly higher cost. So it tends to be more of a financial issue, since they've been operating at deficit this year as well. But there is a way to sort of set aside funds, and we'll get into that during the hearing. Just informally and working with Brian Conway, I know that we've had these sort of conversations about reusable containers, like getting rid of plastic bags, like since I arrived here at the university, I think 3 years ago now. So it's definitely something that students keep bringing up. And we can definitely meet later, Senator Warner, or meet with like the environmental committee and maybe even NJ Perg to discuss some next steps.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes, please do message me after a meeting. So thank you, Senator Warner. Are there any other reports from ad hoc committees? Are there any other reports from ad hoc committees? Okay, we'll continue on to Senate reports. Are there any senators who would like to report? Senator Merriam, is there any updates on the Diversity Night initiative?
Hi guys, yes, as a community outreach senator, thank you Harrison for letting me speak, sorry first. So I do have an update on Community Engagement Week in general, which is happening next week, so starting April 12th through Friday, April 16th. So our first event will be on Tuesday. It is Diversity Night. We'll be making a cool Thai dish run by the e-board from Lifestyle Medicine under MAPS. This event will be at 6 p.m. on Zoom. And then Wednesday, we have an Activism 101. So it will be a panel speakers. This event will happen at 2:30 on Wednesday. And then Friday night, we will have game night run by the gaming club. And Rocky's here, actually. He's the one running it. Props to him. It's going to be a lot of fun. We do have prizes for them. The registration link and all that stuff will be on the OSL's Instagram. The posters are being prepared and they will be sent out this week. So be sure to check them out for the meeting ID and passwords. I will add, the SGA logo was added thanks to Akwe, actually, who helped a lot with the with the posters. They're on the main ones. I'll make sure they're on all of them, but I'm pretty sure he did that already. But props to him too. Thank you so much for everyone helping out. That's it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask.
Thank you very much, Senator. And thank you again to our new Senator Quay, who's all over and doing so much for our association. So thank you, all of you, for your hard work. I put the rough notes of the events in the meeting minutes, but please also consult the Instagram just for more up-to-date information. Are there any other Senator reports?
Permission to speak.
Recognized.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. So the University Senate will be having a meeting this coming Friday because the last meeting ended short. And we will be discussing the remaining agenda items from the previous meetings. Very excited to announce that hopefully I will be presenting the resolution that the committee was working on this meeting. And we'll be back with more updates next Monday.
All right. Thank you very much, University Senator. Are there any other Senator reports? Are there any other Senator reports? Okay. If there are no other Senate reports, we can take the remainder up during the hearing of the association. Oh, of course, Senator Warner.
Permission for the floor. Sorry.
No worries. Recognized.
Hello.
Recognized. Go ahead.
Hello. I don't know if you guys can hear me.
You're coming through, Senator.
I hear you.
Yeah, you're good.
So this is an update. I'm going to actually be writing legislation on this. So Rutgers, New Brunswick is going to be starting a women's wrestling team. And I've done wrestling before, and I'm going to be joining them. And I wanted to, and right now they're the beginning stages of it. And I'm going to be writing legislation, and I'm going to reach out to some diversity senators in Newark, our diversity senator here, and in New Brunswick. And I'm going to write up some legislation, ask them to sign on, basically saying the student body in New Brunswick and Newark is in support of women's wrestling to include diversity, inclusivity on both campuses and promote equality within sports, especially because that has been an issue, as we know, with the women's basketball and the women's level and college level basketball. And hopefully this women's wrestling will be D1 and will be one of the first Big Ten colleges to be a D1 wrestling for women's. So I just want to update everyone some cool stuff that's going on. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Warner. That sounds fantastic. Congrats. I hope you get to compete with the women's wrestling team at New Brunswick. But yeah, please do let the speaker and I know, and we can help you out with the legislation if you have any issues. And that sounds really cool. Looking forward to it.
Thank you, everyone, for the support.
Yeah, best of luck wrestling, hopefully, when we're back on campus and everyone's vaccinated. Are there any other Senator reports? All right. Hearing none, then we will be resuming old business, which is the resolution to invest in our future part 2. So I will put the document link once again in the chat, and I'm going to share my screen in just a moment. Essentially, at the last meeting, there was some discussion about it. I believe there's some confusion over the details of this bill, this resolution as well. We do have Rocky here from the Gaming Club just to clarify some things. But before we begin, I just did want to go briefly over the minutes from last time. So to clarify, this is 1.5% of our remaining general fund monies So it is not a significant amount. The items listed in the appendix, like the previous investing in our future resolutions, are not final. And there is a $300 fund just in general for any miscellaneous items that ORSE or the Student Affairs Centers or any other centers think might be fit to add. So I did want to clarify those couple points since I think there are points of confusion before. So once again, $1,300 or less than 2% of the total general fund budget. The appendix includes possible amounts and vendors. Student Affairs Senators will be working with eBoard and OSLL, hopefully communicating with our student leaders to help finalize this list. And the Chief of Finance will be submitting the purchase request when this list is finalized in 2 weeks' time after we pass this resolution, if we pass this resolution. So now that I've gone over the minutes, I'm going to put it once again before the floor for debate and discussion. If there is no one who would like to call me to order with an incidental motion, I'd like to hear from Rocky, since I know that was a request from several senators last time, and Rocky's taking the time to attend our meeting and speak a little bit more on this resolution. All right.
Hey, you can hear me, right?
Yep.
Awesome. Cool. Hi, guys. For those who don't know me, my name is Rocky. I am the president of the gaming club here on campus. And I have been a part of a lot of, parts of our campus because my whole goal is essentially to make this place as best as it can, essentially. And I know that's a lot of what you guys fight for. You guys fight for the sense of just making campus a better place, advocating for students, and I appreciate that, which is why I worked with William to create this bill. So the game room itself, I know there was a lot of confusion last time, I'm going to clear that up, but the game room itself has been outdated a bit. It was great for a time, but through the years, through the use, paddles have no grip on each side or broken, or the pool sticks are broken, they're loose, controllers cracked, everything of the sorts. And the thing is that the game room is actually a high traffic area. And not only at that, because our club exists now, we started the first semester of COVID, so we only had a half semester in real life. But because of our club is a thing, we're actually allowed to take advantage of the room as well. So given it that, the 70 plus people that go there per day, the foot traffic would be increased even more. And this would make, like Dylan said previously, this would make like a genuine, tangible difference on campus. Like it'll show that SGA is really here for the students. If you go to the game room, you check out the equipment yourself, you ask the people who go there frequently, because a lot of people hang there frequently. They'll ask the equipment's cracked. They've complained at least once per day. You hear it if you hang out in there. It's something that like a lot of students do take advantage of the game room. It's a resource that we are provided, and it's something that we can definitely improve upon to make everyone happy for. Now, I know this amount is insignificant at best. It's I believe with taxes and everything, it's going to be $1,400, and for that little price compared to your overall budget, and considering how much is left for the incoming semester, I think it's a safe investment because it shows students that you're making a tangible difference. You can, whether you would like to broadcast it, or even I can broadcast it to my club, make announcements, whatever it may be, saying, hey, SGA is passing this bill. And that'll give you recognition. That'll show students that you guys are actually making a difference, actually preparing campus for when we're coming back in person. I think that's a fantastic idea, considering how little it affects our budget, as well as how many people will benefit from it. And for clarification on the equipment itself, this will not directly be held by our club. This would actually be held by the reservations office, like behind the counter. If anyone's ever been to the game room, this would be behind the counter. This would be items that they hold, so anyone can use it on campus. This doesn't directly just affect us as a club. It does benefit us, I will admit, considering our genre, but it'll be for anyone, no matter if the club's hosting an event or anything like that. They're allowed to rent out equipment. They're allowed to use this equipment, anything of the sorts. So this would be greatly beneficial for essentially anybody on campus who would wish to use it. Does anyone have any like questions, clarifications? Because I know last time there was a bunch of misconceptions.
Yeah, point of information, Rocky. So some of our senators have not stepped foot on campus at all because, the freshman class unfortunately had to be online. So could you just explain the game room for them and just kind of, especially for the people on our live watching as well?
Sure. So for those who haven't been to campus, I'm sorry for that. But the game room is in PRCC. It's next to the Starbucks. And what the game room is, it's essentially a chill space where they have tables, they have chairs, they have a few, they have a few screens. We have a few consoles like Xbox, PlayStation. We have two pool tables, I believe. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've been to campus. I believe it's 2 pool tables and ping pong table as well. But the whole thing about the game center is essentially to find a spot to relax. We have the library, but that's more study based. We have like our number one place to essentially chill on campus is just walking around, or typically the game room in my experience, or like just a lounge, but that's like talking with friends. So the entire point of the lounge is to essentially bring people together. It doesn't matter your experience with video games, just play the games. You rent out, you give your ID in, you rent out whatever games or whatever consoles you would like, and just play, have fun. That's primary focus. Just de-stress from school and everything of the sorts.
Thank you, Rocky. I did want to add another bit. Back pre-COVID, how many people were we seeing using the game room at one time during peak hours, during free period or something like that?
Do you mind if I answer the question in the chat?
Yeah, no, of course.
Yeah. So the game room, you actually have to give your ID in to rent out equipment. It kind of gives you you have to sign it out essentially, and it keeps you liable for what you have. The reservations would essentially keep track of what they usually do this with the controllers. They've already been doing this for a long time now. Where you essentially put your ID in, you sign out whatever equipment, and they keep track of it. They make sure everything comes back, so they make sure everything's good.
Okay, thank you, Rocky. I did want to add, at least, when I remember back being on campus, I feel like I'm 50, 70 years old saying that, back on campus, the PRCC was the center of student life, right? It's meant to be. It's the campus center. And aside from Starbucks, and the line stretching around to the entire Starbucks, the line basically stretched until the game room, and the left-hand side of PRCC, Starbucks and the game room, that's where everyone was when you walked in, right? That's where all the noise was. Sure, there's clubs tabling all along there, right? But that's where people are hanging out. That's where people are enjoying themselves, relaxing, decompressing from class. I think, taking the step to invest in that, right, so that we can go back to campus in the new normal, a new safer normal, I think that'd be fantastic. Are there any other questions from the floor? Any motions from senators? I know.
Point of information. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. So I think we touched on this last week, but why can't you guys go to allocations board again?
Allocate ad hoc? You talking about that? Or right? Or just to clarify?
Yeah, allocations board ad hoc funding.
Yeah. So allocations board ad hoc, I actually talked about ad hoc about this originally. They were saying that this is not something that is in their jurisdiction. They're more specific event type of thing. This is more benefiting our campus, through reservations and such.
Yeah. So Rocky, if I could add on, to my understanding, at least in bylaws level 800 or the financial bylaws, it lays out for allocations board, the procedures and how allocations board members get selected, right? Because it's all run by SGA and it's chaired by our chief of finance, who unfortunately isn't here. But allocations board is sort of the mechanism by which larger events can be run, right? So, for example, I know back when we were on campus, right? Like the MAPS health conferences, or for example, like large like program board style events when student organizations want to collaborate or make something bigger for a one-time event. That was the sort of thing that they could appeal to allocations board for. Since this is more of a capital investment, this would be a slight departure from allocations board funding. I think this is an opportunity for SGA to really, to really invest in our campus, right? And to represent that we're here to support students and using their money, right, to help them. I don't know if that answered your question at all, Senator Sarah.
Not really, but I'm checking the, because I still have more questions, but I'm checking the charter and bylaws just to formulate my thoughts.
Yes, thank you. Please do correct me if I said something wrong. I believe that's a procedure.
I talked to William. Actually, this is our initial idea as a club to essentially build this list to ad hoc. And I actually talked to William, and he was talking to me, saying that he was primarily in charge of like ad hoc, and he said this was not in their jurisdiction.
May I request the floor?
Recognize, Senator.
Hi there. So question, this is, I don't know if Rocky would be able to answer this, but I'm just going to put the question out there. Do we know how in the past, because like I think I'm assuming that the Office of Reservations and Special Events kind of has this jurisdiction in a room. Do we know how those items got there in the first place? Like, was it a previous SGA that funded these, or did the Office of Student Life spent these? And if so, have we tried using those avenues? Not that I'm saying that like the money's not worth it or anything like that, but and I know that this language is being constantly used. At $1,300 is not a significant amount of money. It is when it's a pandemic and like this is coming from student fee money. So we just want to make sure that like this money is being used for everyone, especially in the game room. You know, we just want, this is just a question just to be sure that this money is being spent on something that everyone on the campus can enjoy and use.
So, I mean, like to my understanding, right, the Office of Reservations does rent this equipment out to all students or anyone who is able to present a Rutgers ID, right? So this would be a resource that, like PRCC, like all the spaces in PRCC, is accessible to every single student. As for how the equipment got there, I'm not too sure about the details. I don't know if Dean Williams is in the call or if anyone else from Student Life might be able to answer that. But like this would be, available to all students, right? Who, if they were to walk into PRCC, they'd be able to sign out a game or to access the space.
I am here. Hi, everyone. And I just wanted to get a little bit of clarification on the specific question because I'm hearing quite a few different questions about the PRCC and funding for the game room.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Senator, but I think the questions were, how was this equipment obtained in the first place? So like the pool tables, the consoles, the gaming equipment, if it was funded by the SGA at all or in part. And then I believe the next question was something along the lines of like, maybe if the cost could be shared with Student Life, I'm not too sure.
Sure. So the game room is funded and maintained by allocated funds within it's not per se the Student Life budget because Student Life is a very specific department, but within the Division of Student Affairs. And so there are regular updates to the game room and to the other parts of the Paul Robeson Campus Center in general. And they all kind of function within various budget lines within the division. So that being said, I do think there's an opportunity for the SGA to partner in collaboration with the division, simply because, I think, we all do our best to kind of manage the needs of the center. But, I think there's definitely room for improvement. As someone who has an office within the center, I can definitely attest to different items that could probably be updated. And I do know that there are plans to modify different elements of the facility. And so it's really around the priorities of what, needs to be addressed at different times. And so if the SGA is very much invested in the game room and really having specific items or wanting to think about, specific areas within the room, then we can certainly support that. And I believe that most recently, Dylan and the director of the Paul Robeson Campus Center, Mr. Ben McCardle, were supposed to connect about some of the opportunities. So I think I don't know if that's pending or being planned in advance, but I think that would be the best way to go about addressing the issue.
Thank you, Dean Williams. Senator, I don't know if that answers your question at all. If you want to use another, I believe it's just an incidental motion, so you do not need to request the floor.
Yeah, I think it was answered. Thank you, Dean Williams.
I did also want to add that, this resolution, unlike bills or budgets, right? This is not. We must spend this amount. $1,300 or it all goes to waste, right? This list and it's up to this amount, right? Up to $1,300, just allowing the student affairs senators to work with OSLL and the Office of Reservations and Special Equipment. And I did want to point out, I realized I paused my screen share, but in item 4 of the the resolution, right, to just asking OSLL or Office of Reservations, whichever department might be more appropriate, to contribute financially if it exceeds the max amount that we're willing to allocate, roughly $1,300. All right. Are there any other points of information, motions from the floor?
Well, yes. Oh, my bad.
Sorry, Ricky, go ahead.
You go ahead.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to touch back on what I discussed about the allocations board. So I checked over the most updated charter and bylaws that I personally have, which I think is the May one. And the only thing that I found about the requirements or eligibility for funding for organizations and students is what I had posted in the chat, bylaw level 600, I believe, Article 2. And I want to direct everyone's attention to Part A, which says the Run SGA Allocations Board offers monetary assistance through ad hoc to fund events, diversity initiatives, students awareness programs, and speakers, travel, and equipment. And I obviously am mostly highlighting the equipment part because that's what we're here to talk about, especially because this equipment is going to be used by everybody in the university. And I personally, through my involvement with other organizations, Rocky, I have submitted proposals to allocations board where, we are requesting money for one organization, but it's for the use for the entirety of student body. So I was wondering why, and I wish, our chief of finance is here to answer these questions directly, but I will leave it for if anybody is aware of the answer. Would it be possible to perhaps, submit the proposal and see, because again, this equipment is going to go to everybody in Rutgers and for the student body to, request that this equipment be allocated through the allocations board for the purposes of such, usage by everybody. So I don't see why it wouldn't be under the jurisdiction of allocations board or why, it wouldn't be the chief of finance's discretion with that. So that's, yeah.
Yeah, so thank you for clarifying that, Senator. I personally, I must have missed that word there. I think it might have also been more of a historical context and precedent, right? Since I don't think there's ever been this continued sustained effort to, reinvest in capital, right, or to improve existing equipment on campus. Because a lot of times with student organizations, their funding and a lot of their ideas and planning normally go from event to event, right? How can we engage with students by having this big party, right, or having this large cultural initiative? So I think that might be sort of where the confusion originates. Based on the language, it does seem like that is an option. But I think, not to take words from the president's mouth, but one of the goals set forth by executive board, by president, by this association has been to improve our campus life for students so that when we return, the campus is better than they left it, hopefully with data library and maybe improvements in PRCC as well. And if it's from allocations, then, it's not really like it's from the association, if that makes sense.
So to clarify, would we be moving forward with this just so we could have our name on the equipment? Like, is that because if allocations can't, and here's the other thing, let me, I guess, explain why I'm bringing up these questions. If we can get this money allocated from the ad hoc board, then there would be, because the money that the allocations board has does not roll over, and I believe it goes back to. Actually, I'm not going to go there because I don't know where it goes back to. But the money that we don't use as the SGA goes back to allocations board, and then the allocations board money cannot be used by our association unless it's requested by student organizations. So if we, thinking about it from the SGA perspective, I wonder what the other senators would feel about perhaps, looking through the allocations board route, and because that would leave more money for us to allocate for emergency funds and other resources that exist and initiatives for the students that are struggling financially, because there is that route for organizations to take through allocations board.
I'm not used to the whole permission to popcorn speak thing. But to my understanding, what I've been told at least, I understand you saw the bill, and that does make sense what you're saying. I agree. It's just what I've been told so far. I'm not an expert in this, but what I've been told so far is it wouldn't be an ad hoc thing. What we can do is I believe we can just wait for someone to answer the questions, maybe like William or something like that. But realistically, this means no offense or anything like that. Whatever money you have left in the pool, do you plan on using 100% of it, the whole $60 something thousand? Because we have, I believe, to my understanding, your funds don't roll over to you if you don't use it this semester. They roll over to allocations board, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I just want to clarify that. Allocations board is essentially a group of students. Normally, they're supposed to be a representative from every category of student organization, so cultural, special interests, so on and so forth, as well as a representative from IFSC. And it is chaired by our chief of finance. Mm-hmm. Please, someone correct me from financial bylaws if I'm incorrect on this. But this allocations board is responsible for determining appeals to allocations, right? They do not receive their own funding. They're just in charge of whether or not funding from allocations overall is distributed to student organizations or whoever is appealing. So that being said, right, normally for student organizations and the Student Governing Association, just due to budgetary procedure, money collected from student fees for this year can only be used for students for this year. So any amount that is not used rolls over into the massive allocations fund overall at the end of the spring. Mm-hmm. Yeah. In the past, we have donated a large amount to the emergency funds. In fact, that's in order to prevent that sort of rollover. Last spring, a lot of senators, including Senator Jovitz and Castaneda, and a lot of people who are currently serving on the SGA, allocated their senator funds as well as the general fund just to both the pantry as well as the SGA emergency fund overall. And I certainly expect the same to happen. But I think the question was more sort of how allocations works. So allocations board, they don't have their own funding, right? They're just in charge of allocations fund overall, if that makes any sense. Once again, if you do have a question, it's just a point of information. It's an incidental motion, so you do not need to request the floor. However, if you'd like to speak to fellow senators, I do ask that you request the floor and simply say whether you're arguing in favor or against of this current resolution. Is there any more debate or discussion on this current resolution? I heard a buzz of static there. I'm not sure if someone was requesting the floor.
Yeah, Harrison, point of information for President Terpstra. So I can't see, thank you. So I can't see the resolution anymore, but I know that I brought up to you about potentially adding or allocating some funding towards getting board games in the game room as requested by a couple of senators. Was that added to the legislation? I'm not sure.
Yeah, so I'll speak on that. Because the legislation was tabled, we couldn't necessarily like edit in, but like the $300 here that's like left there, just as all the other items here aren't like solid and set in stone, there's extra money planned for stuff like that, for board games and card games and, well, whatever is decided.
So there is, like, within the proposed budget, of course, this is, up to that amount. These amounts are not final, right? This would be determined by student affairs centers in conversation with OSLL or SE, whoever is appropriate. There's this additional $300 of wiggle room that we're giving ourselves to purchase any additional card games or anything like that. And once again, let me just scroll up. Again, like with part one of investing in our future for just association, it's authorizing student affairs centers to edit this list, determining vendors and collaborating in a manner they see fit. So they do have the freedom to edit the list if they, for example, very much disagree with the selection of Nintendo Switch and think that the PS5 is more appropriate.
Yeah, or like, it would just be kind of difficult to narrow down for this, like these specific card games and board games, because like that could just be decided as a group later. It would just make problems like if we were to figure that out. But there's money there for it. And that is planned on, that is intended.
Is there any more debate, discussion, motions from any senators? Thank you, Speaker. Is there any other motions from the floor regarding resolution to invest in our future, number 2? Okay. If there are no other motions, amendments, anything like that, then we will be moving to a 2/3 majority vote by voice. Okay. So let me pause screen sharing briefly while I pull up the attendance or the voting form. Please give me a little bit of time while I do so.
Wait, my bad. Point of information. So we're moving to a vote right now.
Since there was no other discussion, we are moving to the vote. That is correct.
Oh, okay. Is there still a chance to make a comment, or are we just? I was just
I mean,
unclear.
if I guess to delay the vote, we could have like a two-thirds majority vote on to delay the vote and open it back up for discussion, but it would be a little bit unorthodox.
I just wanted to make a comment in regards to the president's one of the things that he said in the chat real quick.
Okay.
I appreciate it. So Dylan, I know you mentioned that there's no genuine reason to not pass this where there's competing money and sorts, but as Sarah mentioned, this money could be used. The ones that we have right now, the $60K, could be used to the emergency relief fund and for students to get that needed relief. And I think that if there's an opportunity for the gaming club to request funding from allocations, then they should try to go that route first, see where that goes. And given the context that we have on the bylaws, it says that you could request funds for equipment. There is a reason to maybe not use that $1,300, and that $1,300 can go to 1 to even 2 students, for the relief, because we're still in a pandemic, and this upcoming fall semester is not going to be any different. And so I think that, yes, that is a reason to save those $1,300 so that those $1,300 can go to students who really need it.
So, okay, I'll quickly respond to that, just because save time for the chairman. I get it, but we did vote on something to send whatever ends up being remaining in the general fund to go towards the emergency fund anyway. So if we intend on leaving however much in there, that will go towards it. And we put in just about $250,000 to the emergency fund, which is just a lot already. So I think it's fitting and aligns with our mission that we could do something like this for the gaming club and other areas of campus. I'm very interested in doing that because this money, you mentioned it could rightly affect 1 or 2 students. This could affect more than 100 potentially in the next semester. So I just think it aligns with our mission. And
hold up, I'm sorry, but so are you saying that?
I did want to, since we are moving to a vote, I did want to clarify that discussion is now closed on it. Our chief of finance, while at work, did put something in the chat. I've been trying to clarify some things mentioned about allocations with him, but we will be moving to a 2/3 majority vote by voice. Those in favor of the bill, when your name is called, resolution, when your name is called, simply say aye, and those opposed, when your name is called, say nay. So Senator Tonenzi.
Aye.
Okay. Senator Warner. If you're unable to access your mic, I will be checking the chat afterwards. Senator Warner. Okay, once again, this is a vote regarding resolution to invest in our future, part 2 for the gaming room. Senator Patel, speaker.
Aye.
Okay. Senator Ifas.
Aye.
Senator Adela is absent. Senator Merriam.
Aye.
Okay. Senator Zahra.
Aye. Sorry, did you hear that?
We got you. And I vote from Senator Zahra. Senator Aziza.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman. I said abstain, not aye.
Oh, abstain. My apologies. I will mark it as such. An abstention from Senator Zahra. If you hear me vocalize it incorrectly, please do correct me as well, or put it in the chat. Senator Aziza.
Aye.
Okay. Senator Quay.
Aye.
Was that an aye, Senator Quay?
Yes, aye.
Okay. Senator Sebastian.
Aye.
Okay. Senator Sockett and also co-senator Robert Jones are unfortunately absent today. So I'll be marking them as abstentions. Senator Sueta.
Aye.
Senator Naveen,
Aye.
Senator Mira,
Aye.
Senator David is also absent. I've marked his abstention. Such, Senator Christine,
Aye.
Senator Kate,
Aye.
Senator Sateva, and Senator Brendan, I believe, was absent as well, so I've marked their abstentions. This can be found in the minutes. I'll make sure it's in the correct folder. Right now it's in the agenda folder for those who'd like to follow along. SCJ, University Senator Brianna, I know you're unable to access your mic, but if you could put in the chat.
Aye.
Oh, thank you so much. Senator Camilla. Okay, mark that as an abstention for right now. Senator Castaneda.
Nay.
Okay. Thank you. Senator Chauvin.
Nay.
Okay. Senator Ritti. Okay, I've marked an abstention for that as well. So I'll be tallying the votes and I'll announce it very shortly. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 12, 13. Okay, so with 13 votes in favor, 2 votes against, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 abstentions, not counting towards the majority. We do meet the 2/3 majority, and the resolution does pass. Thank you, senators. This is the minutes document. It should be shared to everyone as well. I will put it in the chat. Thank you again to Rocky for taking the time to show up, explaining some of the concerns regarding the resolution overall. We will now be moving on to the next item in the agenda, new business. So if there are any motions from ad hoc committees, please do let us know. But if not, then we will be we'll be moving on to the excused absences. So if there's no objection, we'll be approving the absence of RBS Senator Sake, who's attending a funeral. Okay, hearing no objection, RBS Senator's absence has been approved. RBS Senator Robert Jones had a work training that he was unable to move. If there's no objection, we will be approving his absence. Okay, hearing no objection, RBS Senator Roberts' absence has been approved as well. I also received notification of excused absence from Student Affairs Senator David. If there's no objection, we'll be approving David's absence. Hearing no objection, Student Affairs Senator's absence has been approved. And finally, Community Outreach Senator is struggling a little bit with exams at the moment. If there's no objection, we'll be approving Adele's absence. Okay, hearing no objection, Senator Adele's absence has been approved. This concludes new business, and we will now be opening it to the hearing of the association, where any member is available to comment or request the floor. Are there any comments from the association?
I do have a point of information for anyone that can answer. This is definitely off topic, but I was just thinking about this. But what day is our last meeting? If anyone knows.
That's a fantastic question. Normally we stop just a bit before exams. I'm going to try and pull up the academic calendar right now. I don't know if you know off the top of your head, Dean Williams. I know I'm putting you on
I
the spot a
don't
lot
have
today.
the last day of the semester, but it would be whatever the week before. I believe reading day starts, so that you all aren't in session after reading day, basically.
So I just pulled up the registrar scheduling thing. So reading days for for spring 2020 to 2021, this current academic year, would be the 4th and the 5th. Regular classes end on Monday, May 3rd. So I would assume that Monday, May 3rd would be our final meeting as well.
Okay, thank you so much.
So I ask, while of course it is the ability of the association to pass legislation at any duly constituted and general body meeting having quorum, I do ask that we try and propose legislation by the 26th. So at the final meeting, as is tradition, we can have some reports from committees and hopefully end early so everyone can get back to studying for exams or enjoying the better weather. Are there any other comments from any association members?
May I be recognized?
Recognized speaker.
Thank you. So I do just kind of have like a general, I guess, announcement. I don't know. But I just want to make sure that like all of the senators are, taking the time out to think about what they want to use their funds towards. We all have individual funding and resources. So please take the time to think about what you want to use your individual Senate funds towards. And please put in your request to Will and I as soon as possible so we can get that moving. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Speaker. I'm sure our Chief of Finance would appreciate that as well.
Permission to speak again, sorry.
Recognized speaker.
Thank you. Everyone in SGA, if you haven't signed up for a care package, definitely do. And everyone that's on the live stream right now, definitely sign up to receive a care package as well. Just want to put that out there. But
would you be able to share the link potentially?
Yeah, give me just 1 second.
Okay, fantastic. And what's the deadline again? Oh, I think the president beat you to it.
Yeah, he did.
Do you know
Thank
the
you.
deadline?
Hold on. I don't actually know it off the top of my head.
Okay. All right. If you give us just a little bit, Rocky, we're going to open it up to public real soon. I know we're getting, oh my goodness, we're slightly over time. My apologies. Okay. Really quick, last call. Any comments from association members? Thank you, Dean Williams. April 9th. I'll put that in the minutes. So by April 9th, which is this Friday, so please do sign up as soon as you can. Okay. All right, if there are no comments from association members in particular, I want to open it up to everyone who's in attendance or the public, if we have any comments from a live stream and the like. Rocky?
Hi, yes. One quick thing. So the care packages was, is there anything preventing me from using my resources as a student leader, whether it be group chats, emailing lists, other presidents, from just sending it out through like emails and just promoting it?
Absolutely not. Please promote it as much as possible. Thank you.
Do that. Yeah. Do that. Yes.
Yeah. We would love that.
We would like to maximize, the amount of students who do sign up, and hopefully as many as we can provide for do sign up. So that's appreciated.
What is the deadline on the student packages? Just so I can send that out.
April 9th.
April 9th.
April 9th. I'm willing to put it in the chat. So that'll be this Friday, I believe.
Got it. I'll talk to other student leaders, see if I can get some emailing lists or group chats or whatever. I can send that as much as I can.
Thank you very much. Are there, hello, Caitlin.
Hi. All right, I'm gonna keep it short because I know we're a little over time. But hi everyone. If you don't know me, Caitlin, I'm the organizer from NJPIRG, and I just have two quick announcements. Well, first, I think we already talked a little bit about the NJ Grassroots Organizing Conference, but if you guys have any questions about it, it's gonna be really fun. A lot of great event sponsors there. We have some reps and representatives speaking on Sunday, and if you stay, and it's from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. and if you and we'll have like a a little half hour from 3 to 3:30. We'll have like a networking session. So if you can come for the end, yeah, exactly. Rep Wickerman, I don't know, sorry, but anyway, we'll have like a networking session where hopefully the reps and some other organization leaders will stay. So if you want to, introduce yourself, meet and connect that way. And then I also want to say for our 100% renewable energy campaign, as you know, NJPERG is working with all the different Rutgers chapters on all the Rutgers campuses to get a commitment to 100% renewable energy as one of the many things that we want to get included in the not Chancellor's, President Holloway's task force's climate action plan set to be released this summer. So this week we are doing a big media push, and so we're going to be asking folks to send along any video 30-second testimonials or just a quote if you would like to get featured. We're going to be doing like weeks of postings on the 100th day of the year, which is this Saturday. And so we're trying to get like 100 testimonials from student leaders, from professors, faculty alike. So if you're really passionate about 100% renewable energy and you want to talk about why you think Rutgers should go 100% and other institutions alike, please send along a video or just a stock photo of yourself and like a quote to this email, my email, and with like the subject line like 100% renewable testimonial or something like that. But yeah, that's it.
Thank you very much, Caitlin. Looking forward to being featured again on NJPERG page, hopefully. So I'll put that in the meeting minutes. 100% renewable testimonials as a subject. You said just send it to that email, correct?
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. And yeah, hopefully the climate action plan does include all the feedback that the community and NJPERG is helping to collaborate and get, so that we're actually, not only divesting, but we're also making Rutgers greener as well. Are there any other comments from association members, the public, anything from on live stream? All right, thank you again. Our president just shouted out in chat, but yes, thank you to our media committee, our media senators for vastly expanding our social media and our e-government, as the president likes to say, our e-government capabilities. Best of luck for those who have class. I'd like to hear motions to adjourn. Any senators?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Second.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Unless you call me to order, I will not be holding a vote. But thank you, everyone. Take care. Best of luck. Scheduled classes open, says Senator Sarah. Thank you so much. And take care, everyone. I'll see you all next Monday.
I'll see you next Monday.
See you next